Instead of developing a community, going out buying a tract of land and building our own community, we still want to move in over here.
Success is to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with
somewhere
that.
else or someone else is always better than. And I just refute that.
My grandparents, boycotted, tried to fight peacefully, tried to do things in a manner, talking directly, having Martin Luther King talk directly to the president and try to sway his mind, where now they say, what do you mean? I do matter, and I'm confident in that, and I'm going to tell you that.
And that's something else too. It seems like, and this, I'm generalizing, okay? But as we do progress and go up the educational scale or the social scale, we walk away, move away from our own people. Instead of developing a community, going out buying a tract of land and building our own community, we still want to move in over here.
Success is to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with that.
Somewhere else or someone else is always better than. And I just refute that. But I see that happening all the time.
But the counter argument of that is the better schools, less crime.
Because we allow it to be better.
When you can afford
it's
it.
perception too. Or you come back to perception too.
And then when we have Black Wall Street, they burn it down. So.
Well.
Not saying. I'm not negating your point. I'm just saying.
No. And again, that comes back to coming to really know one another. I was thinking about this in church one Sunday morning, and just over my life's observation, it would seem like church people, Christians, however you want to view it, go to church 40 years, 50 years, and really don't know each other, except for this group over here. We got little churches within the church. We got little pastors within the church. So you spend 40, 50 years and don't know the person that's sitting over here. But you're there every Sunday. But you yet don't cross that line to go to actually come to know your brother or your sister that's sitting right over here. And I think that shows itself out into the community. And that's something wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
I mean, we got, at one time, there were 39 churches in the city of Cairo that's 42 blocks long. Now, to me, something's wrong with that picture. Okay? So, it's like, what message is really being brought forward in church? There's some different messages being taught on Sunday mornings, apparently, and we know some churches don't necessarily come forth with the truth, or they sprinkle it with something else, which makes it not the truth. But you would think, like again, I said, I've always looked at, not always, but in my adult life, looked at Cairo as a microcosm. Whatever is going on in the city, you can find it right here in Cairo. Or you can find it in Pulaski even. So we just have to keep on fighting. And we see one of the things that I think has been awesome since all this protesting has been going on is to hear our young black people before a microphone and really speaking. Because it used to be, if you were black and the media put a microphone before you, because apparently they heard you talking and your English was bad and you were not a well-spoken person, so they put you before the TV to foster that view of black folk, ignorant or whatever. But it's just blown me away to hear all of these young black male and female speaking. It's just been awesome. And just hearing, I'm always amazed. Heather and I are on one board together. And I'm at that meeting, all I have to do is just listen to Heather. I mean,
a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
I mean, she just,
But I think
you don't need to say anything. She said it all. You know, and that to me, that's awesome. Because, you know, speaking is not my arena, even though I became pastor, even though I'm a minister, but I really don't like to speak. I mean, I really don't like to converse in public. I like to work. I'm a behind-the-scenes kind of person, really. And but I just love to hear people articulate the English language. And I wish I could do it. But I love to be around you all that can do it. You know, it just, I've always been in awe of pastor that. From probably 30 some odd years ago when we used to have those ministerial alliance. The brother he's a preacher's preacher. You know, so I always just, life is beautiful. It really is. The song that we sang in church, my good days outweigh my bad days. I can't complain. I didn't experience the civil rights era reading from a magazine, watching on TV. I lived through it here right in Cairo. I didn't experience COVID-19 about reading it in the newspaper and hearing about how many people have been affected by it. I was affected by it. I was blessed by God to come out of it. I mean, life is good. Life is really good. If I'm not just looking at the materialistic part of it, you know, and
well, thankfully, Pastor, you've lived a seasoned life, and you can reflect on those things. And I think that the difference between what Black Lives Matter means to different people is that you lived the civil rights era. You were here when, you know, John Lewis was here. You know, I don't know how old you were then, whether you even realized the gravity of that situation or not.
I was a teenager.
But he lived through that. That's not like Ami reading it on her own or at school, you know, through books. And so, I mean, not to make the younger generation seem to be, but they say, I'm not my grandparents. You know, my grandparents, boycotted, tried to fight peacefully, tried to do things in a manner, talking directly, having Martin Luther King talk directly to the president and try to sway his mind, where now they say, what do you mean? I do matter, and I'm confident in that, and I'm going to tell you that. And I'm willing to be on the front line. Now, I don't have that same experience of people treating me a certain way in the 60s. I've lived in the 2000s. I'm on social media. I know that the world is a large place and that there's all kinds of people there. So that perspective is very different. And I think, because I am the white person on the panel, that what does that mean to white people? Pastor Barnett, I don't think that probably any white person has told their child, you can't wear a hoodie when you go out of this house. Nor has that thought ever really crossed their mind that they would need to, that might mean the difference between life and death. White people don't think about that because you've never had to experience that. What difference would that make? If you're walking down the street in our neighborhood Why would it matter if you had a hoodie on? Why would it matter if you were with 2 or 3 of your friends walking down the street? And so it's, I think also for young people, it's also hard because you can't do regular things. You can't go outside with a hoodie on without being guarded that maybe you need to pull it down if you see a police officer or somebody drive past. I mean, I think as white people, that thought just never crosses our mind that would be needed or that should matter, when we know that it does. It does.